Got carried away there. Nearly forgot to actually turn my camera on. Right, good evening. How are you doing, everybody? Huge shout out to those people who are here live. Massive shout out to those people who are watching on the replay on YouTube, or you might be listening to the replay on Spotify or iTunes or Stitcher or SoundCloud or whatever else you get your podcasts from. Do know, guys, if you are here live, if you ever miss one of these, there's loads of ways to catch up. That doesn't mean you go now. Like, don't go anywhere. Still stay. But yeah, you can catch up by just searching for the Acts on This TV audio experience on iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher. And you can obviously catch up on the Facebook group, on the Facebook page, and on YouTube. So bloody everywhere. Just search for Acts on This TV, all one word, on any social media platform, and you will find Acts on This TV content. So thank you for being here. Good evening, Jack. How you doing? Sandra's now joining us as well. Georgia, congratulations on your BBC Three role. Don't know how you snuck that one past me. I just saw you post in the Facebook group today going, by the way, first TV role is in this BBC Three drama. Shaheen Baig had, actually, I think she'd put it on Instagram. So I don't know how you snuck that one under the radar, but congrats on that. That's proper exciting. So well done on that. I'm drinking a bit of tea tonight. I've had 3 coffees today. So that's amazing. Anyone else got anything exciting to report? Please put it in the chat right now. Alicia, how you doing? Hope you're good. And Kev's here from Dublin as well. Dublin. Kev, I hope you well. I hope you well, mate. Got loads to talk about tonight. We're going to do a little bit of recapping on last week's actsonthis.tv member-only mastermind session that we did with casting director Claire Bleasdale, because I think she said some really, really interesting points that we've not really covered before. Claire works a lot in independent film. Like good, decent independent film, though, like independent films that win BAFTAs. Real strong independent film with great directors, great names, but using new talent in the, not in the lead roles. Like in the lead roles, she'll give people a chance. They'll give them a crack if they're a new actor. But she came on last week for members of actsonthis.tv, had a chat with us, was super uplifting, real, just great casting director. Again, always up for finding new talent. If you're not a member of the site, you can go over to the preview section here, actsonthis.tv, and you can watch a little trailer. I'm going to play that out for you now so you can see a little bit of what you missed. If you're a member, don't forget, get yourself in your members area. Jump to the top of the membership and you will find there our latest 5 features. You'll find it at the top there. I think it's it's nearly 2 hours, hour and 55 minutes, all on how you can use independent film basically as a springboard into whatever you want. You know what? Into TV, into feature film, whatever you like. It's a fantastic, but it's a fantastic platform, but it's like genre, but it's also accessible. That's the thing, it is accessible. If you are, even if you're brand new to the industry, there's an awful lot going on. Let's play the trailer to show you a little bit about how these work. If you weren't on this call, here's a little bit of what you missed, but you can obviously go check out the replay. A powerhouse in the world of independent film casting right now. Also moving, though, recently into TV comedy casting too. It's casting director Claire Bleasdale. Claire, how are you? What was the first sort of stuff you did casting-wise then? Was it like theatre stuff, or was it independent film to begin with?
It was, so I worked with, my very first internship was with the Hubbards. People come to me to find those real people, and whether that's named actors, which in a lot of my films, there's a lot of really well-known actors that do that brilliantly throughout their career. But then it's also finding unknown talent like Dylan.
Cowboy Dave went on to win a BAFTA. There are the boys. They're looking very happy with themselves. How can actors sort of get on your radar in a good way without being overbearing and creepy?
I think we really want you to be a problem solver. Like we want you to hit us up when we're looking for somebody like you.
Yes.
To just do it. Like, if there's anything suitable, that line is very useful to us.
What do you sort of look for new talent in our show reels?
I just want to see something within your reel that's going to connect, your vibe and your energy with the script. We notice you. We see the same people. We know who you are. We don't need to. And then you get suggested or you write to us. And then you're like, I've seen them at home, or I've seen them at the Royal Exchange, or wherever, and then, or 53.2 or whatever, and then you bring them in.
I'm getting self-tapes for like, can you put on a neutral accent? But then in the intro tape, my neutral accent isn't me because I have to play somebody to be that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally know what you're saying. No, you need to be you in that intro. We can see through, if you're putting a bit of a facade on or not being genuine, we can see that. Whereas if somebody's just straight up and honest, especially for the work I do, that's really admirable. And with me and the people, the filmmakers that I work with, that's what we want. That's what resonates with us.
Bosh, if you want to watch the full 2-hour chat, atsonthis.tv/live, get your membership. However, I'm going to pick out a couple of bits that you saw there. We're going to expand. I can't speak this week. We're going to expand on those points because I think they're quite interesting. Let me know if you were there live as well and what your kind of favourite takeaway from that was as well. Maybe how you've taken action on that this week. Good evening, Amanda, and Alex has now joined as well. Sarah, how you doing? Hope you're good. And Liz, there you go. You just had a little starring moment there as well. I might even play a clip from you in a second because the question you asked was very interesting. So the first thing that I want to kind of pull up and just sort of look at in a little bit more depth was just one phrase that I've been banging on about for ages, but Claire said in that clip you just heard there, but I'm going to expand on it. I'm going to play a bigger clip of that section out, which is what I always tell actors they need to be, and what I think is like just so freaking important. If you were running any other business, this is what you would have to do to succeed. And that is, how can you, as an actor, solve a casting director's problem? Good evening, Rich from Miami. I've had Rich, slightly off topic now, I've had Rich driving around Florida today, trying to pick me up some Pokemon cards from McDonald's because they're doing a promo over there and I've got to catch them all. So thanks for that, Rich. That was hilarious, mate. But yeah, how can you solve, like Rich is solving my problem for getting Pokemon cards because I'm a geek. How can you solve the problem for a casting director based on the project they are casting, you know, the puzzle they are trying to solve, and where you fit in as that jigsaw piece, to their puzzle? I think if you always approach any situation in this industry as how can I solve a problem, as opposed to how can I cause a problem, how can I cause confusion, because a lot of actors do it. They reach out to casting directors and they just throw the kitchen sink at them and they go, here's me reel, here's a 35-minute short film, here's 17 pictures of me, here's me spotlight, here's me website, here's me Twitter. Consider me for everything, anything. Would love to be seen for anything. And it's kind of like going, wait a minute, you just give me a headache. I haven't got time to watch your 3 reels, your 35-minute short film, and look at your 7 headshots. Can you actually solve a problem for me? Can you break this down really succinctly so, you're making it easy so that, I can go, okay, you're contacting me at the right time with the right thing to say. Here's just a little bit more of this and we'll expand on it in a second, but I think this is a really interesting point. How can actors sort of get on your radar in a good way without being overbearing and creepy?
I think the best thing is if they're always writing to me with a reason.
Yeah.
And if they've just cut a new show reel, or they're writing to say that they're in something, and that's something that's malleable that I can watch, and I have a database of actors that I'll save for different, and then when I'm looking for new roles, I'll always revisit and rewatch the show reels. So mainly if you've got something to tell me, or that one of the projects that I'm doing, there's a role that you think that you're definitely suitable for. I think we really want you to be a problem solver. Like we want you to hit us up when we're looking for somebody like you.
Yes.
To just do it like, if there's anything suitable, that line is very useful to us. We want you to be proactive, obviously, but find out if there is something in the project that you're suitable for, or like you were saying, even if it's the kind of vibe that you are, if you think it's your vibe, and we can see that even by just looking at your headshot that you fit in the ensemble of that project, then we'd be like, oh, right, yeah, cool. And then you'll go in that file and then we might revisit you. But if you're doing that and you're not the right vibe for the project, it can kind of go against you. You need to be quite specific what you're emailing for. If you're in the eye of the storm with a project and you're really busy, and an email from an actor comes in, sometimes I'll just flag it and file it and revisit it when I've got time. But if an email comes in when I'm, looking, booking people in and looking at show reels for a certain role, and your email lands and it is you are suitable to be seen for that, and I look at your show reel and then I'll bring you in, or I'll get you to do a self-tape, because you solved the problem.
Boom. So how can you be a problem solver this week for casting directors as opposed to a problem causer? Okay, and a lot of people I know with what Claire said there will be thinking, but how, Claire? How on earth can I possibly know what you're casting at any time? How can I know whether I fit into your projects or not? She said something there really interesting and that's very intelligent. She said, listen, you should know, and there really is like a vibe about almost every casting director. When you really know this industry and you look at a body of work of a casting director, you will find that there are very, very, like, in 9 out of 10 cases, prominent themes about the kind of stuff that they cast. Even down to genre where you go, you know what, Nikki Bly, practically everything she casts is comedy. Rachel Freck, nearly everything she casts is comedy. You know, and then you've got other casting directors like Daniel Edwards, who's coming on tomorrow night. I'll play his little trailer out in a bit. Daniel always casts the edgy you see, high-end dramas. Generally, that, you know, bar Line of Duty, which is, you know, high end. The other stuff is kind of like sometimes quite young cast led, sort of people between, I don't know, 20 30 to 35. He's got a feel to him, everything that Daniel casts, and I guess it's because these casting directors are, you know, attracted to certain kinds of projects. I was just on Clubhouse before, listening to some American casting directors, and one casting director said, you know, she was introducing herself and saying what she was known for, and she said, I'm known for all the post-apocalyptic stuff. She goes, I don't really know how I fell into that genre, but everything that I cast seems to be post-apocalyptic. So when you know the kind of genres and the kind of vibe a lot of the projects that these casting directors have, Claire's stuff, generally speaking, northern, not always, but northern, without overusing that word gritty, is very like real, normal, almost, you know, just almost like you're a fly on the wall of these people's lives. It's not really high-end drama. It's more like you're part of the thing. You know, so you would know if you fitted into Claire's projects, even if you didn't know what roles were in the project she was casting, you would have a vibe about her. So it's about picking out those casting directors this week and going, where does my vibe fit in? Who do I really fit like a glove, you know, in terms of the stuff that they usually cast? Because you're probably then going to be the kind of actor that aligns with their taste. You know, on a lot of these broadcasts, on these mastermind sessions we hold every week for members, we talk about casting directors' taste, and I always say, listen, what's your taste in actors? You'll generally find, you know, if you watch enough of the stuff that these people cast, and you immerse yourself within it, and you understand, you know, who these people actually are, and what they like, you will find the ones that you feel you're aligned with. So that's, you know, the ones you really want to be targeting most. You want to target everybody, really, in the long run, but you know, you will find the 30% of casting directors you really vibe with that you go, you know what, they just get me, and I'm kind of their taste. So that was the first thing that I wanted to you know, I wanted to just comment on, just how can you be a problem solver. That came up in that broadcast with Claire that I thought was great. Steve said he sent Claire an intro email on the back of the seminar. Hopefully she'll read it. She definitely will. She's great. She definitely will, 100%. You know, you might not get a reply straight away or at all, but you know, you will. I'm sure she will definitely read it. All right, Alison, hope you are good. Sharon says she needs to get her email off to Claire. Spent today updating the show reel and spotlight. Nice one. That's a good use of today. Where's the best place to find out new projects casting directors are casting? It's really, you've really got there is no go-to place, Jill, where you can unfortunately look this up. It's about being a detective. It's about caring enough to put the hustle in and do the work. Follow the casting directors on Twitter. You'll find, you know, Daniel Edwards is putting so much out about Heartstopper at the moment on Twitter. New Netflix 8-part drama that he's casting. But you will find people who do that. Instagram as well. They're putting briefs out. I see quite a lot from people like Rachel Sheridan, Shaheen Baig. Who else have I seen recently? Gina J, I think, was pointing some stuff back. I can't remember exactly, but you will find if you follow these people on social. Also check out ITV, BBC, Sky, and Channel 4 press sites. You'll see what's being greenlit. Generally, if it's a second season of something, you can work backwards and go, who cast season 1? Chances are they're going to be casting season 2. Not always, but I would say 8 out of 10 times. So it requires a bit of homework. And then also, you know, obviously you're part of this community, talking to other actors. you know, and seeing what goes out on Spotlight as well. You know, you will get the Spotlight link. You'll get stuff that actually goes out to all actors, not just agents. That's how we found out Martin Gibbons was casting the extra stuff for Wolf up in the UK. Up in Manchester. I've been talking to Americans all day. But yeah, up in Manchester, Carmel Cochran was casting Wolf for Sky down in London, but Martin was the Northern contingent. So it's about just digging out, doing the homework, basically, and then sharing information as well. A lot of this community is happy, you know, to share info with other people, which I love about the Act on This members. They're just like, you know, proper positive and very happy to help each other out. And also, you know, ask your agent for submissions, what you've been subbed for. Get that every month or every, you know, 2 months. Say, listen, what have I been subbed for? Go down the list, see what you were, you know, put in for, what you didn't get called in for, and then maybe how you can address that and build up some more rapport with the casting directors who aren't seeing you. So it's business, basically. So what you've got to look at, and just it makes it fun as well. You're like, right, how can I, as a product, how can I put myself in front of my customer today? Well, my customer today is Peter Hunt. Right, what do I need to do to get on Peter Hunt's radar? Like, right, I've got a scene that's particularly Hollyoaks style. Where do I fit? Maybe you don't fit that, maybe you do, but it would be about going, right, how can I pique this guy's interest enough to spend 70 seconds watching my stuff? And then making sure it's aligned with the show. So the point where you go, right, you know, I'm going to be useful. I'm going to be a problem solver, you know, for Peter. I've got another clip to play. Also, Amanda's posted a backstages, you know, articles. Backstage is an interesting one. You know, we're going to talk about this with Daniel Edwards tomorrow. It's not just Backstage that do this. Quite a few publications are a bit late to market, so they publish things like they've got the first look on stuff, and actually that thing's been in the public domain, like, you know, potentially like over a month or something like that. So it's not as up to date. I wouldn't ever leave it to a publication like Backstage to curate for you. I would always have your ear to the ground and go, right, how can I be at the forefront? But it's still worth, you know, it's still worth checking out publications and that. But I know I spoke to Daniel Edwards and he's going to talk about that tomorrow night, because he's seen a few people jump on the back of Heartstopper and something called Grace for ITV. And they were saying, oh, we think Daniel's attached to this and that. And these were projects that were like well underway or finished. So it can kind of lead it can lead actors astray a little bit. And obviously it just means, you know, you're not getting bang up to date stuff. But there's only so much you can do. Right, next port of call is Liz, I think this is your clip that I'm going to play out now, because it was such an interesting question. And you've just put here, following Claire's advice, I filmed the intro and got a recall for the commercial, sent it off this morning, so fingers crossed. Yes. Right, well, let's play this clip out, because the advice clearly worked. And this is really about idents. Showreels obviously are so, you know, the showreels have been around forever as well. Let's not get this twisted, right? Obviously, they're really popular now, but they've been around a long time. I'm going to say showreels, I meant self-tapes. Self-tapes have been around a long time. But obviously, they're more and more in vogue now because of the pandemic. And sometimes you'll be asked to do an ident, sometimes you won't. Sometimes, you know, make sure as well, this is something I've noticed, make sure when you're getting a self-tape request that you read the brief properly, because sometimes they will actually give you the side, so they'll send you the script and they'll send you a separate document in your email which will tell you how they want the self-tape to be done and how they want it to be delivered. The file format might be different to usual, and they will tell you whether they want an ident or not, in terms of, you know, your slate, your bit to camera at the beginning, where sometimes they'll ask you to say name an agent and nothing else. Sometimes they'll say name an agent and a bit about yourself, if it's for something very specific. And then sometimes I've noticed where they're going, we don't want a slate, we just don't want one, don't do one. So if you'd not read that and then you did one, then, you know, you're not really, again, solving somebody's problem. It just shows that you've not really read the brief. But when you are doing idents, Liz had a fantastic question, and here it is. I think it's just interesting to know.
When you get a self-tape,
Yeah.
and they say, right, introduce yourself, who's your agent? Do you go off that initial bit as well? I'm getting self-tapes for like, can you put on a neutral accent? But then in my intro tape, my neutral accent isn't me, because I have to play somebody to be that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally know what you're saying. No, you need to be you in that intro. That's what we want, because especially now with everything being online, if you're asked to do like sometimes you do a slate where you don't do an intro at all and you just do your agent details and everything, and then you go straight into the scene. But I think more and more now we're asking for an ident, because we're doing a lot more casting online and through self-tapes. So we want to see a little bit of your personality, just like literally that tiny little bit of you talking about your agent and how old you are, whatever, is enough for us to just see you, and then we see you in character. So you definitely need to be you. You've got to show the real you, and just so then if it does get to the point where you have a Zoom meeting and you're talking to them, or if you walk in the room, it's not a surprise to them. They know who you are, and then they know the neutral version of you. Don't neutralize yourself, like be true to yourself.
Yeah, because it's hard, because you're like obviously if I've got a neutral I can do a neutral accent, I can do accents, but it's not authentically me. Do you know what I mean?
No. Yeah.
So you feel you're already acting before you've started acting?
Absolutely.
Yeah, never be afraid of asking a question. Like, don't send a massive long email, but if there's a question you need to ask and you've not got an agent, or your agent, it's, whatever, like just ask a really quick one-line question and they'll come back to you. It's best to do that than send it and it not be what they want.
And that's a really good point as well. If you are unsure, it is absolutely fine to ask. I've done that on loads of occasions. I had to do that for a tape last year where I was like, do you want this in American or do you want it in English? Like, I just don't know. You've sent it me, but I knew it was for an American project. I didn't want to just tape it in one or the other, or both if I didn't need to, because my American's nowhere near as good as my English, because I'm English. So ask if you are unsure. Ask if they want an ident, or if they, if it's not patently obvious. But do read the briefs, definitely, because again, that's Claire's opinion. Claire wants you to be yourself in the ident, and I think 9 out of 10 times that's applicable. I think there may be a 1 out of 10 case where it might be of benefit to be slightly more of the character or the accent within the ident, over not being, maybe, like I say, 1 out of 10 times. But definitely ask. And it's awesome, Liz, that you took that comment on, and what did you say? You sent the tape off. You got a recall. Following Claire's advice, I filmed the intro and got a recall for the commercial. Sent it off this morning, so fingers crossed. Nice one, Liz. Well, I hope you get that. That's amazing. Yeah, fingers crossed. We're all sending you good vibes. And Jack said, the thing is they're all different, so each sign can be a different approach. Definitely, there really is no one size fits all answer to anything. Which is why on this, I try and bring a different casting director on. Not every week, because we have agents on as well and directors and stuff. But I try and bring as many as possible, because you really can't just watch one feature on ActsOnThis.tv with a casting director and think it applies to the 80 or 100. Or so in the industry that are the guys who are the ones that you really want to be on the radar of. Alex has just got an email from backstage, and it said UK film and TV showing significant recovery from COVID-19 shutdown. Nice. It is, honestly, and every month it's going to get better. As I say, I had that conversation with that script editor from Help, the Jack Thorne drama with Stephen Graham and Jodie Comer, and he was saying, like, people don't understand just how much content is going to be made, because everybody is gegging for it. It's going to be made the second half of this year, and then throughout 2022. He said it's just going to be absolutely insane. There'll be more work around for actors than ever before. So now's the time to get ready. So you don't have to get ready down the line. You're already ready. But yeah, it's exciting. There's going to be, a lot. One thing lockdown has taught us is that people crave content more than ever. Netflix subscriptions of God knows how many times they've gone up. Amazon, all the streaming services. People are just, watching more than ever, and I think that's created habits that won't go away even when we're allowed out. Definitely. Kelly Valentine Henry is big on sending exactly what they want, says Jack. Always read the briefs, absolutely. Kerry Ann, how you doing? Finding out the casting directors are not sure how to do. I look at the casting website. Yeah, so it is, again, it's about, really, it's what it's about is not expecting to find that information neatly on a list on someone's website. It's your job to seek out those customers and what they're doing, and that does require research from multiple fronts. It'll be keeping your ear to the ground on the press sites to see what's being commissioned, talking to other actors, regularly reaching out to casting directors just in case your email hits at the right time, and it'll be checking out just as many online resources as you can, really. Spotlight, any other casting sites, and just keeping your ear to the ground. There really is no unfortunately, there is no wall somewhere that's just every top casting is pinned to. It's just not really how it works. So you've just got to get out there, get yourself amongst it. And Dawn says, I love the variety of the casting directors you get, Ross. Well, tomorrow night, right, if you're not a member of actsonthis.tv, it's worth it just for this. I mean, obviously, it's worth it for loads more. But Daniel Edwards, co-casting director for Line of Duty, casting director for ITV's upcoming drama with John Sim Grace. He's casting Heartstopper at the moment. He's responsible for things like Ripper Street, Mr. Selfridge, Born to Kill, the International Emmy award-winning Responsible Child. Daniel is back for the 5th time on Act on This. He's probably been one of the most... Daniel, Victor Jenkins, Peter Hunt, Jill Trevellick, there's a few, Kelly Valentine Henry, there's a few who have just come back time and time and time again since I set Act on This up 10 years ago. These guys, before it was anything, and before we had any members, were like, Ross, I'll help you out. Daniel was just a casting associate, I think, at the time when he first came on. He'd just done the 2nd series of Mr. Selfridge. The 3rd season was going out, and he was being upgraded from associate to actual casting director on it. I went down to his house. I bought him a large latte because I thought, I'll probably get us through the interview. 3.5 hours later, we were still there. The latte had gone, and I realised Daniel is probably the biggest talker in the entire acting industry. So tomorrow night, God knows how long it is going to last. It won't be 90 minutes like usual. It'll be a lot longer, but this is your opportunity to hear direct from casting royalty in my eyes. This guy's just absolutely awesome. And he's working on some incredible projects. This is going on tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. If you've not got your membership, actsonthis.tv/live, but check it out. It's going to be such a good laugh as well. Actors, we're doing it again. I want to invite you to the next actsonthis.tv live mastermind session, taking place this time on Tuesday, the 9th of February at 7:30 p.m. with this guy here. He's back for the 5th time, responsible for casting some of the most popular shows on TV, including Line of Duty, the multi-international Emmy-winning Responsible Child, ITV's upcoming drama Grace starring John Sim, and he's currently casting one of the first LGBTQIA+ teen dramas in the UK for Netflix. It's called Heartstopper. It's casting director Daniel Edwards. Daniel, welcome back. What are we going to be covering on Tuesday?
Well, I have to say, it's really quite nice that we had our last chat just before pandemic arrived. And so we thought we'd carry on about how many changes there have been for casting amidst the pandemic.
Yes.
We'll be talking about casting LGBTQI+ projects. And we will be talking about a whole new set of pet hates, Daniel's pet hates, of which there are many that have risen out of the cracks during lockdown. We have to entertain, we have to be honest, because I think people are sick to death of me appearing on your podcast.
They love it. Honestly, one of the most popular guests ever. Actors, if you want to get involved with this, you want to literally jump on camera, talk to Daniel, put your acting career questions to him, anything on acting, casting, auditioning, anything you need to help you get further in your acting career faster, get yourself over right now to actonthis.tv/live for full details of how you can take part. And Daniel, I ask everybody this question on these trailers. Little bit of pressure on you now. Why don't they want to miss this one in particular?
Well, the great thing is, where else are they going to be apart from sitting on the sofa? So they might as well be spending some time with you and me.
Absolutely. And also, I've heard maybe a special guest as well.
There is a special guest. There is a special guest.
To see the special guest. actonthis.tv/live. actonthis.tv/live, and yes, there will be a special guest appearance from somebody that we won't spoil it until tomorrow evening. But yeah, it's going to be such a good laugh. Daniel is one of the most supportive, one of the most honest, one of the most. I don't know. He just cares. I mean, ultimately, he just loves actors. cares, loves his industry, super passionate, and is constantly looking for, great talent. So if you believe that is you, you want to be on his radar one way or another. But yeah, if you want to get the opportunity to jump on camera, chat to Daniel one-to-one tomorrow night, I'm going to try and bring as many people on camera as I can. Obviously, I can't get every single person who attends the webinar on, otherwise it would be about 75 hours. But I reckon we can get a good 2.5 hours out of Daniel. I reckon we can do 7:30 till 10. Normally it'd be 7:30 till 9. We'll probably get an extra 60 minutes out of him of value tomorrow night, I'm sure, if we keep him occupied. But yeah, at onthis.tv/live if you want to get your membership, if you've not got one already. Those people who are here, loads of you guys obviously have got your membership, and loads of people said they're going to be there. What do you want? I've already planned sort of a lot of the slides and stuff that I'm going to go through with Daniel tomorrow. I know some topics we're going to be talking about. What would be useful for you in terms of stuff that you would want to know from a guy like this? Because that's what I want to do as well in future, is kind of almost survey you guys before we do these, so that I can make sure we're using the sessions as efficiently as possible, in terms of we're getting, I think we get some incredible value out of these guests, definitely every single week in, week out. But, when we get somebody like Daniel on, who's been on 5 times, I don't want to repeat any of the stuff that he might have talked about on previous sessions. There's still 2 of those 5 sessions in the members area on outta.this.tv. The other 3 aren't there anymore. That they're a bit old. I always like to try and prune what's in the members area, but there's still at any one time over 200 hours worth of content in there. But what would you be in need of from Daniel? So I can just make sure that from the very beginning of that mastermind, we get as much out of him as possible. Jack says it'd be great to talk about self-tapes and how long things are taking at the moment. He's definitely going to talk about the difference now in terms of, post-COVID to pre-COVID, and what's going to happen as we get out of this mess. Alison says, would love to see it live, but I'll be working, have to catch up. The replay will be in the members area, Alison, on Wednesday afternoon. I say afternoon, early evening. And Drew said he can't wait for this. It's going to be good, honestly. I just love it. And I love it when I bring a guest on that I know so well, because I know Daniel so well. We have every chat we have gets more and more cuts through all of the bullshit, gets more and more brutally honest, which is more useful, because it's sort of actionable, it's strategic content. Then you can go, right, okay, these are the things I can do, and these are the things that I genuinely have no control of, so I'm going to stop trying to control. That was something that I got out of him in the last interview that we did just before the pandemic hit, in my kitchen. We just sat down for a podcast when you were allowed to have a brew with people. It was amazing. And I miss that. I can't wait to go back to recording some podcasts in person again. But yeah, that's what I got out of him last time, was just that sort of brutal honesty. Look, there are some things that you can do to get in the room with casting directors. There's also some things that you just cannot control, so just don't even try. Can't wait for another mastermind with Daniel. He's ace, says Georgia. What makes a show reel or an email stand out in a good way, says Alison. Alicia says, good thing to do, especially when questions are specific to just one actor. Time can be used more with slides for yeah, exactly. So that's what I want to do. So normally what we do is the first 30 to 40 minutes of these mastermind sessions are chats with me and the guests, where I kind of dive into their career and a bit more of the generic sort of stuff that applies to every single person on the call, and then we get some one-to-one stuff going on, which still, even if you are not the person getting one-to-one, I always still come away with, and that's how we cut the little bits you've seen tonight. There's always gems in answers that other people, to questions that people have asked that you might not even thought you needed the answer to, which is just why I love group coaching over anything. I don't like one-to-one coaching, really. I like one-to-one in the concept of a group, in terms of where everybody gets to benefit from the answer. And that's why when people, what I want to start doing is, if anybody's got show reel questions, I get peppered, and and it's fine. I really appreciate that people want my opinion, but I get peppered with emails like 12 a day sometimes of, will you watch my show reel, give me feedback on this, give me feedback on this. What I want people to start doing is, yes, of course I will, but it would be far better if you post it in the Facebook group or in the private community over at outta.this.tv, so that when we are giving feedback, everybody gets to benefit from it, as opposed to me writing the same email out 15 times with similar kind of advice. So I want people to start doing that more, if that's all right. I will still jump in, of course. But if you have a show reel question or a scene question and you want somebody to watch something, post it in the Facebook group or in the member-only community on outta.this.tv. If you don't want everybody to see it, just so that everybody gets the benefit from the feedback. And also you get more feedback, because my opinion on something is not gospel, as is no one's. I think it's good to get some rounded opinions from people who, know what they're talking about. So, and then everybody can benefit from that as well. Ian says, how does Daniel categorize his actors database? Yeah, that's interesting, because he'll probably do it different to his associate Lucy, who we've had on, who will probably be different to his assistant Tom. I messaged Tom, actually. Tom's going to come and do a mastermind session with us sometime in April, I think, as well, because I want to start getting some assistants on. Assistants sometimes are like, oh, I'm a bit new to my career, but I think we can learn a lot from them as well. We get casting associates on, but I think assistants are really interesting to talk to as well, because they are newer, but I think they they pick up stuff that associates or more established casting directors wouldn't. So I think it's nice to see. Then the new, the next generation, aren't they, really? So we're going to get more assistants on for some masterminds, I think, as well. Just so that you guys know who's doing what. And then you're reaching out to everybody. If you're just reaching out to casting directors, it's kind of all eggs in one basket, isn't it? You should be reaching out to associates as well. But then it's still only all eggs in 2 baskets. I think you should have all eggs in 3 baskets. Assistant associates and casting directors, and then casting directors' mums and dads and brothers and sisters, and you should go around to the house and just go and have tea. Joking. Joe says, getting your first credit and meeting with him. Yeah, we can ask him about generals. I did make him do a general for Richard Haler once, because I said, I put him on the spot though. I said, Daniel, if Richard flies over from Florida, will you have a general audition with him? And I think he didn't think Richard would fly over. But then Richard did fly over. So he did have a general meeting with Daniel, because he'd made a few 1,000-mile trip. David says, get Daniel to review any clips that we've sent to CDs that you're privy to. Yeah, we could do. It's difficult, isn't it, that, though? It depends on... that's kind of like Showreel Surgery, isn't it, where we play out actors' clips and stuff. We are going to do a self-tape masterclass with Babu Sise, where you will get to, it's going to be a lottery, I guess, but you can all submit. I'll make another Google form, and you can all submit your like a self-tape you've done, either for a real audition, or one you've just shot at home yourself, and we'll kind of choose 8 of them at random. And then Babu, because he's the king of self-tapes, he's a BAFTA-nominated actor, and he books something like 8 out of 10 roles from self-tapes. He's going to critique them properly. Because one thing that I loved, I freaking loved what he said, because it just calls people out on bullshit. He said, don't take self-tape advice from people who do not self-tape and do not land jobs through self-tapes. Because there's a lot of self-tape gurus out there who do not get their own work via self-tapes. And there's a lot who do self-tape but don't land work via self-tape. So maybe they're not that good at it. Whereas Babu does self-tapes, lands lead roles in massive TV shows via self-tapes. He is qualified. I ain't qualified, so, but he is. So we're going to get Babu to come and do that, which will be amazing. I need to sort that out with him, but that'll be pretty good. Sophie says, casting myths, i.e. things actors get told about casting and auditions that are not true. Yes, we'll love doing that. I think what he said in the trailer is quite good. Daniel's pet hates, because again, he is just, he's very, wears his heart on his sleeve a little bit. Do's and don'ts for Zoom auditions. Yeah, that's something that I don't know a lot about. We had Louise Kiley talking about Zoom auditions and Zoom recalls and stuff like that, but I've only done read-throughs on Zoom. I've not actually auditioned via Zoom. Everything I've auditioned for last year was self-tapes, yeah. I've not actually done any Zoom auditions, but yeah, we can definitely talk about that. Stephen, good evening. Is Spotlight account essential before emailing casting directors? It's not, mate, no, but it's absolutely helps down the line. Every casting director we've had on, from the biggest to the, to the newest, I've also looked, of course, we'll accept submissions from actors who are not on Spotlight. It helps if you are, because that's going to help to get you an agent. It's going to help your agent to submit you for stuff. But, we've also had agents on who have taken people on off their raw talent and gone, God, this girl or guy is so good. I'm going to take them on, and I'm going to work with them to get their credits to get on Spotlight. Janet Hampson said that. She took a couple of actors on herself who weren't on Spotlight. They were quite new. And she's like, don't worry, we'll work together to get you on that. So nothing is, not doable. I think all you can do is just ask and just see what you get. You got no harm in asking though at all. How many takes of a self-tape should one send to Daniel? Yeah, that would only be, we can ask him what he likes. I would say only ever a maximum of 2. I just think that's probably the consensus from every casting director we've had on. Just 2. One, 2 slightly contrasting pieces. Nothing that's too mental, not one that's completely crazy and one that's normal, just two that are, subtly different. But I think that's enough. I think 3 gets confusing from there on. Alex is on his way to Victor Jenkins' house. Don't go, Alex. Don't go. Alicia said, what's his process if an actor isn't suitable for the part they audition for, but is for another? Is it another audition or cast from original audition? It's an interesting one. Yeah, I've had both. I've experienced both of those. A couple of times, I've been asked to tape for a different part. A couple of times it's just been a straight offer based off the audition that I didn't get the role that I was going for. So we can ask Daniel what he likes. Again, he every casting director is different, isn't there? And that's why you should attend all of the mastermind sessions, because you get to hear what each person likes, so you can tailor your approach specifically to that casting director. Richard's still here. All right, Rich. Yeah, just talking about your general audition with Daniel. Said he's such a lovely guy. He is. He's awesome chap. Sorry, I'm missing some comments here. They're all just flying down my MacBook here. Nick says he's done a couple of Zoom auditions, which have generally gone well, although he's not been that successful in getting roles from them. It's good practice though, Nick. Sarah says, does look have a lot to do with castings? So if I do an ace tape, if it really doesn't matter if I don't see the look of the part? Yeah, unfortunately, that's just the way it goes, Sarah. Definitely, I've been privy to sat in on quite a lot of castings where that has absolutely been the case, where I've seen actresses come in and smash it. I mean, like really knock it out of the park as well. And then executive producers, once they've left, like said things honestly, like I always come back to that example that I use, but I can't believe it. Like, she's too good looking. And it's, it's a lovely problem to have, isn't it? But I don't know if that actress ever gets the feedback from her agent. I mean, I would hope, because it was a recall for that. It was like a second recall as well, I think. And then they just decided they'd just gone, again, they always say this, we've gone a different way on the character. We think she should look a bit more like this now because we've now cast the guy and all this sort of stuff. And yeah, she just, this actress was fantastic, but she was just too good looking. There's only so much you can do at someone's appearance on camera. If it's in the theatre, it wouldn't have mattered, I'm sure. You could do a lot with, makeup and stuff like that. But on camera, you can only do so much. And I don't know if she'll ever get the feedback that she was just too beautiful for the part. And maybe she'll go away thinking, God, I was shit. They must have hated me then. It's like, no, you were amazing. You just don't look right in a good, in a positive way. Has he ever taken on an actor without an agent for a role, and then what his thoughts are around actor-agent relationships? I'm sure he has, definitely, because Daniel's cast a lot of young actors. Right now, for Heartstopper, his Netflix drama, there's a pretty young cast for that, so they really are going all out, looking for, people of absolutely all experience or no experience. Which, actors get the backs up about sometimes, but it's like, oh, God, they're getting real people. No, like, we all would love a chance, wouldn't we? So you can't on one hand say that, oh, it's not fair, or it's only famous people who are getting opportunities, and then you can't be going, oh, it's not fair, it's only complete unknowns that are getting opportunities. Well, like, what do you want? If you feel you're somewhere in the middle, like, it's tough, innit? Just keep working harder until you are well known. But yeah, he does look for a lot of a lot of brand new people for a lot of his dramas. Salaya, how you doing? We'd love to hear his opinion on diversity representation in the industry and try to get roles that break the stereotypes, especially for the Southeast Asian community. We definitely talk about that. We had a really honest chat on our last podcast with Daniel. And one thing is we can really, as I say, we just don't beat around the bush. And he was saying, like, there's been times when he was an actor. There's been times in his life, where, as a black man, he said, people have told him, you're not black enough. So for some things, he's not black enough. For some things, he's too black. Like I have it almost like in the disabled community. So I've got an eye condition. I'm visually impaired, but I don't look like I have a disability. So, there's definitely been times where there was one very prominent occasion where I was replaced in a role. I was given a different role, but I'd auditioned for a role where the character had my eye condition, right? There's no one more qualified to play this role, and I know I did an effing good job of that audition, like one of the best auditions I've ever done in my life to this day. But because you can't see the disability, they gave it to a guy who had 20/20 vision, and then I ended up having to be on set telling him what he would and wouldn't be able to see in certain scenes, and then I was written in as a guy who had normal vision. So, you get to the point where you go, yeah, you're disabled, but you're not disabled enough. we can replace you because you're not disabled enough. But if it was someone who had a very obvious physical disability, of course they wouldn't dare do that. So we have these really honest chats about diversity and going, what is right, what is wrong, what should we get annoyed about, what shouldn't we get annoyed about. So we'll definitely touch on that. I know Daniel's, got real strong, values around diversity, and he was for a while. I don't think he is now, but he was for the Casting Directors Guild. He was sort of like the chair of diversity, I think it was diversity, or maybe it was disability, one or the other. But I know he's big on it, Salaya, so we can definitely talk to him about that as well. We can talk very openly about that. We'll probably offend loads of people, but don't worry about it. We just talk openly about stuff. If I got that feedback, I know straight up they're struggling for excuses, says Dale. What's that, mate? Definitely. Let's see what else we got here. I'm sorry if I'm missing comments now, guys. There's so many. Thank you for leaving them, though. It can be similar with size as well. I get it. Like, body composition, ain't too big for this, not big enough for this. It's interesting. And some things I'm like, should I be? I find this frustrating, but is it a valid frustration, or am I being precious about something? And it is. It's just an interesting time, isn't it? But I think we need to discuss these things. I think the worst thing people can do if they've got a grievance with something is just not say anything. And then I think we have non-confrontational, violent discussions. I mean, non-violent, not non-confrontational, violent. I mean, non-violent, non-confrontational debates, chats about this stuff, and you should be able to say stuff, and sometimes in saying those things, if you're not from that world, I spend a lot of time with, different actors living with different disabilities. And there are certain things when you're in that world, you begin to understand the language and the terminology. But it's only until you sort of embrace it, you start having those conversations and you initially get the terminology wrong, and then you're corrected, that you actually learn. And a lot of people are so afraid of upsetting somebody and getting it wrong that they feel in this bullshit culture we have now of cancelling everybody for saying the slightest thing that's wrong. People need to just quit that. That gets my back up, where it's like, right, oh my God, this 99% good person did a mistake, made a mistake. That's it. Over. Cancel them. Ugh. No. Why can't we just sit them down and have a chat? Just go, right, okay, what have you learned from that? Right, well, crack on, don't do that again. But because people are so quick to cancel people nowadays, that's why I think we struggle to move forward with diversity and stuff, because everyone is afraid of offending anybody. And for me, if somebody was talking about, blind people, visually impaired people, partially sighted people, anything like that, I don't care what terminology they use if it's wrong, as long as they're trying to have a conversation about it. I'm not going to get offended by it whatsoever. And most people I know living with disability, most people I know of ethnicity, they don't care if somebody refers to them as slightly, in a wrong terminology, because language changes as well. Terminology changes. It's almost like a living, breathing thing. 1 minute you can say disabled. 1 minute you can say, back in the day, people would use wheelchair bound. That's not really what people like to say now, because it, that sort of like portrays some kind of like massive limitation, like you're bound to this chair. So people now say wheelchair user, but it's all right if someone comes into the mix and would use that phrase. You can go, oh, actually, we're not going to cancel you for using that. We'll just tell you actually what you should say now. And I guess it's the same when it comes to race and gender and LGBTQIA plus. I don't know what all those letters are actually. From Daniel, Q from I, A, and plus, I don't know. I'm not educated on that. So Daniel, with this Heartstopper project, which is covering all that, we'll get an education on that tomorrow. But I feel it's all right for me to go, no, I'm sorry, I don't know that. Can you educate me? As opposed to pretending that I know it to not offend somebody. I don't. We can't possibly know everything about everything. But as long as you're open to having discussions about it and learning, I think that's all that really matters in this industry and life. You know what? So yeah, going to be an interesting chat. We'll definitely cover that. Alicia says she gets imposter syndrome with her disability because it's not visible. Especially using my blue badge, getting better at handling it though. Yeah, when I get my disabled person's rail card out on the train, do you know what? Some conductor, she was a bitch the other day. I didn't know, right? And I'm not using my eyesight as an excuse, but I didn't know my disabled person's rail card was 3 days out of date. It ran out of date on the 3rd of January. I went to the dentist on the 3rd of February, sorry. I went to the dentist on the 4th. So it was like, I don't know, just a couple of days out of date. And the conductor, she was a right bitch. She's like, right, that's it then. I should give you a £100 penalty now. I'm like, right, so you're gonna give the disabled man £100 penalty, sitting on a train with his mask on, abiding by all the rules, on his own, because his rail card's 1 day out of date. Now, luckily, she didn't. She was like, if I had someone else with me, I'd have to do it. I'm like, no, you're a human being. Can you just show a bit of compassion? I will replace this rail card. I will renew it. But yeah, to your point, Alicia, when I get it out, I know people look at me and go, what the fuck's wrong with you? You're not disabled at all. Who have you stolen that from, you dickhead? And again, get it, invisible disability is a different thing. And if people can't see yours, you'll get the same. But that's what I want to I honestly, what do people think on here? Anyone else living with a disability? I think we should change. I think there's real argument to change the disabled logo, the sign of somebody in a wheelchair. We should change it. Because this is what it's teaching society disability is, which means that, there's only 24% of people living with a disability use a wheelchair. So there's 76% of people with disability who don't. So can we not just have like a big D on it or something? Or I don't know, just something else. Just something else that just makes people not see it as just that. Because then anybody with an invisible disability wouldn't feel like an imposter. There's people with epilepsy, there's people who are hard of hearing, there's deaf people, there's neurodiverse people. All kinds of people living with different disabilities. But yeah, I think we need to change the sign. Don't think it's a constructive sign, basically. Tony Rossi, how are you doing? I want you to go. I saw you DM me. Yes, Tony, I've got you and Richard Haler in Florida driving around. Getting me Pokemon cards from McDonald's stores. I found out off Richard today, though, that I don't think they start it until next week. They're doing limited edition Pokemon cards. I know I'm a total geek, but they're not going to do them in the UK. They're a 25th anniversary edition, and I will pay you double what they cost in McDonald's if you get them. I'll obviously pay for shipping as well. Sorry, got off topic a bit there, guys. Right, anyone else? What else have we got? What time is it? We've got 7 minutes to chat about anything that you want, anything that I can help you with, any advice anybody needs. Clubhouse, right? Who's still yet to get on the app? It's only available for iPhone users until March. I think the Android version comes out. If you don't know what Clubhouse is, it's a drop-in audio app. It's basically like Zoom, but there's no pictures. There's just, there's no camera. There is little pictures of you. But you can all just jump in a room and just chat with each other. Some people are on like a stage, other people are in an audience, and then you can bring people from the audience to the stage. Everyone can talk. We had a fantastic chat today for 3 hours, just on how actors are doing in lockdown, like how actors are actually getting through lockdown. Like, how are you? Like, genuinely, let me know in the comments as well. How are you? Like, really, how are you? Not just, oh, I'm fine, Ross. Like, how are you doing? Like, I've had a lot of emails from actors who are fine in lockdown 3. 2 types of actors. One type of actor who sat on their arse in lockdown 1 and 2 and got so sick of sitting on their arse are smashing lockdown 3. The other type of actor who went, I'm going to crush 1 and 2 are struggling in 3. So what are you? What are you? How are you actually doing? How are you feeling mentally, physically? Physically, I'm not feeling great in terms of like, I'm feeling my arms are not what they used to be. I'm a bit softer. I'm not exercising like my hair now. Look at the quiff. It's ridiculous. Mentally, I'm great. Mentally, I'm absolutely fine. Physically, I don't feel good. I've got an exercise bike coming on the 20th. So I will be using that a lot. But yeah, how are you actually doing? And get on Clubhouse, because this is the sort of stuff we talk about. It's completely free. I'm going to host rooms every week at least, minimum of a week. And I'm going to, I might host some, I don't know if I can host member-only rooms at some point, but I bet they will do that. They'll probably enable you to create, you can do it already. So you create a closed room and you just invite people in. So I can do that. So make sure you're following Ross A. Grant. If you're a member of ActsOnThis.tv and you're on Clubhouse, make sure you follow me so then I can bring you into any closed rooms that we do. But you will get it on Android at some points. I know it's only available for iPhone at the moment. Sharon doesn't do silly iPhone thingies. Sharon, get with a game, will ya? No, each to their own. If you want Android, I'm all for that. Not a problem. Ricky, get on it. Definitely get on that. It's a great app, honestly. I'll say though, 3 hours on it today. It's quite a long time. Joe's waiting for an invite. Yeah, we did have a thread in the Acts on this Facebook group that we were going down, and people who had invites, because when you get on it, you get 2 invites, and then you can give those to 2 other people in the community. You can give it to 2 other people in the community, and that was my idea of getting everyone on. I've seen that happen a lot. We are getting a lot more people on. But if you do need an invite, don't start a new thread. Like, look for the old thread and just maybe bump it up, write another comment in it. Bump it up to the top of the group. definitely that would be good. But yeah, I'm going to be using that a lot. Definitely. Alex says I have up and down moments. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I can do this, and sometimes I get a bit of a downer and miss the gym. Can't exactly go running in the snow. No, it's very cold at the minute. That's why I've got a bike, mate. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to get one of these exercise bikes, and you can do like live classes on it, which is pretty cool. You can it's got like a screen on it, and you can dial into some live classes of some very athletic instructors who will just hopefully hold me accountable and make me get on it and actually do stuff. I'm not sure I totally get Clubhouse, as Caroline. Caroline, do you use it more? I mean, all of it, there's not really a lot to get. It's just basically like getting on the phone with your mates, but all at once. That's all it is. You get a lot of bullshitters on Clubhouse. There's a lot of people who are just writing that they're billionaires in their profile and stuff, and I think just try to sell people nonsense. But just ignore all those people. I think there's a lot of good people on there as well. It just gives you access to people that you might follow online. You might listen to their podcasts. You might see them. You might have seen them on Acts on This. You might have seen them asking questions or whatever on the mastermind sessions, and you've never spoke to them in real life. We can all just dive on, have a lovely discussion, galvanizes the group, brings us all together, gets you support. You don't need to worry about being on camera, so you can do it in your boxer shorts. Not you, Caroline. I'm sure you don't have boxer shorts, but you can. Sometimes I lie in bed. It's been a bit bad though. Sometimes I lie in bed on Clubhouse and I won't get to sleep till 3 a.m. because I'm involved in conversations. It's like, that's not healthy either. I really need to sort my routines out, honestly. It's bad because Petch starts work for Acts on This at 8 o'clock. I often will work into the night and I won't start till 11. So he's already done 3 hours work before I've even got up. Well, not got up, I just mean like sat at my desk. So yeah, I need to sort my sleep patterns out. It's not fantastic for me right now. You can do club-only events once you get your club, Amanda. Yes, you can. I've applied for a club on Clubhouse, not been approved yet. And I've hosted multiple rooms as well. They say they prioritise people who've hosted 3 rooms when you're applying for a club. A club, guys, if you don't know, on Clubhouse is just basically like a umbrella that would just go over every room that you do. You can decide whether you're going to actually do it from the club or not. So then you guys can follow the club and you'll be notified every time the club has a room as opposed to me. So Acts on This will have its own club on Clubhouse eventually when they approve it. I finally fought the fear and started emailing casting directors. My idea of problem solving was offering my services as a reader if ever needed. No, Slayer, that's good. That's fine. Absolutely. I mean, generally casting directors have trusted readers in terms of they will have actors that they have given jobs to in the past. And then they will, bring them in. I read for quite a lot of casting directors or a lot of read-throughs, but that's just something I've built up over the last decade, really. But you've got to start somewhere. So you know what? Your email might hit at the right time. But generally what I would do if you're looking to read for a casting director, audition for them a few times first, book jobs under them. Then they trust you. They know they can, they know that you can do the job. Because ultimately, when you're a reader, there's a lot rides on that. There's a lot of pressure on being a reader in an audition. Because that actor who comes in is relying on you to be incredible so they can be incredible. So if you're not giving it them, or you're stumbling, or you can't sight read if you're given a script at a minute's notice or something like, oh, can you just do this other scene? Why don't we try this other scene out? There's a lot riding on that. And then the read-through, when you're reading in at read-through, so that one that I did the other day, they can be quite pressured as well because that's the final get-together of the entire cast before that thing goes into production. So on that call was just like acting royalty that we had the Zoom call the other day. It's for a drama called Help. Starred Stephen Graham, Jodie Comer, had people in it like Sue Johnston, obviously an absolute legend. Loads of great people. And then you have to match them. You have to go, right, I'm here and yeah, I'm good enough to be here. I'm gonna, sort of like not feel like an imposter, like Lissy was saying before. You got to bring it. So you've got to definitely have quite a lot of experience to do that well. But it's definitely, it's a great way to just keep active when you're not acting. Sort of feel like you're in the loop, which is good. Liz says lockdown 1 and 2 struggled big time with productivity. Lockdown 3 feel like I've got my mojo back. Only last few weeks though. Nice one, Liz. That's awesome. Josh says he's up and down, going through lockdown, getting really positive, and then sometimes I just get down. I think that's just natural, mate. Definitely. I feel my life. I feel like my life was preparing me for lockdown. Nice one, Bobby. You bought a pellet? Yeah, I got bits of Peloton, Caroline. Yeah, that I've got. The delivery date on it initially was the 1st of April, but they've brought it forward now to the 20th of February. Which is pretty good. So I'm guessing they've upped their production. But you know what? I didn't know. I mean, because these are pretty expensive as well. I've not like bought it because you can. I guess you could buy it all out, but it's like $2,500. I've got it on there. Like they let you pay it off a bit at a time. I think it's 60 quid a month. I thought, 60 quid a month. Yeah, it's kind of just like my gym membership. Not a problem, because I'm not paying my gym membership at the moment. And then I didn't realise that it had gone through checkout. Just because I'm an idiot and I should have read stuff. I think I kind of did maybe realise, and I just denied it. But you've got to get a Peloton subscription as well. So it's not just 64 quid a month for the bike. It's 40 quid a month for the subscription. So it's £104 a month to ride an exercise bike in your kitchen. But I'd already put it through and I thought, you know what, sod it. I'm saving money on coffee now. I used to spend stupid amounts of money on coffee. Spend about £4 a day. So I've just not bought coffee in ages. I'm just going to save up. But yeah, anyone else got a Peloton, let me know. I think we can get online together and like ride our bikes together, which is cool. Right, it's just gone 10 o'clock, guys. I've missed so many comments. I'm so sorry. Thank you for leaving them. I will go back through these and read them. But thank you for leaving them, honestly, yeah, and hopefully other people are reading them and they're feeling. I see a lot of people saying the same kind of thing in terms of, you know, they're up and down a little bit, struggling and juggling a lot of stuff. But I think it's just about going, you know what, this too shall pass, because it will, and I feel so optimistic. Like, I just, you know, every over 50 is going to be vaccinated apparently by May. That's not that far. You know, it's not far away. You know, March will be here before we know it. April, May, done, boom. And then by that point, summer's going to be here, weather's going to be better. I'm guessing COVID doesn't spread quite as bad as it, you know, in the drier months, coupled with the vaccine, coupled with, I don't know, just getting a grip on it. Like, I feel the second half of this year is going to be pretty cool. And we'll be so grateful. I just can't wait, honestly. The thing that just literally fills me with pure joy, and again, just sad and simple, but just when I can go to a coffee shop, and just, we can do an Act on This meetup and everybody can come to it in person like we used to do, and just sit there. How grateful are we all going to be? Just going, oh my God, those things that we used to take for granted so much that we didn't appreciate, because I didn't. You know, definitely I loved it, but I didn't think, this will be taken away from me. Didn't appreciate it like that. And then when it is, you go, God, we didn't know we were born. Forget a leading role in Line of Duty. I just want a coffee and Costa with my mates. Like, that's it. It's going to be a wonderful day. And then Christmas. If we can have a slightly normal Christmas, that'll be amazing. And Alicia's got a COVID vaccine on Thursday. Nice one. See, that's lucky. What are you having? Get the Pfizer one, I've heard. It's a good one. I'm not a medical rep. Don't take any advice from me whatsoever when it comes to vaccinations. Do your own research. I don't think you even get a choice, though, Alicia. You just get what you're given, don't you? But it's still decent. And Alex says, what do you say, Alex? Jesus. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Everyone loves Peloton. Knew I should get shares in Peloton. Yeah, I bet Peloton's shares have gone through the roof, haven't they? Definitely. Josh has got a showcase, he says, in the summer. Can't wait. Postponed from last year. Yeah, we'll get all that stuff back on. And Tony, you are booking your flight to come over here, mate, because you're bringing me Pokemon cards, remember? Don't forget, get to your local McDonald's. Da-da-da-da-da. Hi, can I have 150 packs of Pokemon cards? Tony, they come in boxes of 150. They're $1.99 a pack. So that's what? $300. To you, son, $500 sent to me, yeah? Deal. Excellent. That goes for anyone in the States. Get me a box of 150. I can't believe I'm using the Monday Night Live broadcast to deal in American Pokemon cards. But I've got to catch them all. Honestly, I'm obsessed. I don't know what it is. It's mental. Right, gonna go. Thanks so much, everyone, for being here. Absolutely means the world. Like, really does. You hang out with me every Monday night, and I freaking love it. Please join me tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. with Daniel Edwards. It's gonna be incredible. He's such a good lad. Just come and just try the community out. Try it out for a month. If you think it's shit, just cancel, but I guarantee you won't. Tell them in the comments, people, is it good or is it good? Honestly, it's the best. It's just the best. We've got some incredible guests this month as well. Daniel tomorrow. Any Marvel fans, we've got Elizabeth Henstridge. She plays Gemma Simmons in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for Marvel. The week after, we've got David Martin, the casting director for All Creatures Great and Small. We've got a really big agent the week after from London that I won't tell you just yet in case it's not going to happen, but I think it will do. Used to be an agent at Troika before Troika disbanded. Now has her own agency with somebody else. That's a good one. Then we've got people like Babu's coming back for the self-tape mastermind. Amanda Abington. Who else is on the list? We just got great people on the list. I won't spoil it, but yeah, that's on this.tv/live if you want to see the current lineup. But you will love it. Definitely. Sharon says it's so good, brilliant. Says Jenna. I love it. Thank you. Right, I'll see you tomorrow, 7:30. Look out for a link, members, in your email, or if you go into the members area from roughly midday tomorrow, you'll see it in the members area. You'll see the Zoom link there. I'll finish with Daniel's trailer again for those people who missed it before. But here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Daniel Edwards. I'll see you 7:30 p.m. tomorrow. Until then, lots of love. Bye for now. Actors, we're doing it again. I want to invite you to the next actonthis.tv live mastermind session taking place this time on Tuesday, the 9th of February at 7:30 p.m. with this guy here. He's back for the 5th time, responsible for casting some of the most popular shows on TV, including Line of Duty, the multi-international Emmy-winning Responsible Child, ITV's upcoming drama Grace starring John Sim, and he's currently casting one of the first LGBTQIA plus teen dramas in the UK for Netflix. It's called Heartstopper. It's casting director Daniel Edwards. Daniel, welcome back. What are we going to be covering on Tuesday?
Well, I have to say, it's really quite nice that we had our last chat just before pandemic arrived. And so we thought we'd carry on about how many changes there have been for casting amidst the pandemic.
Yes.
We will be talking about casting LGBTQI plus projects. And we will be talking about a whole new set of pet hates, Daniel's pet hates, of which there are many that have risen out of the cracks during lockdown. We have to entertain, we have to be honest, because I think people are sick to death of me appearing on your podcast.
They love it. Honestly, one of the most popular guests ever. Actors, if you want to get involved with this, you want to literally jump on camera, talk to Daniel, put your acting career questions to him, anything on acting, casting, auditioning, anything you need to help you get further in your acting career faster, get yourself over right now to actonthis.tv/live for full details of how you can take part. And Daniel, I ask everybody this question on these trailers. Little bit of pressure on you now. Why don't they want to miss this one in particular?
Well, the great thing is, where else are they going to be apart from sitting on the sofa? So they might as well be spending some time with you and me.
Absolutely. And also, I've heard maybe a special guest as well.
There is a special guest. There is a special guest.
To see the special guest. actonthis.tv/live.